I'm always learning about the city. It's a very humbling experience to be put in your place, to know that the place is far more complex than you ever could have imagined, and that it will continue to reveal itself to be more and more nuanced as you go along. My name is Billy Potts. This is the first book that I've ever written. It's called Henry Steiner's Hong Kong. It's the first volume in Zolima City Mag's series of mini culture guides. Writing is something which tied me back to Hong Kong. It gave me an opportunity to explore it. Gave me access to people and subcultures and rituals and places which I normally wouldn't have access to. The main challenge is that the subject of this book, Henry Steiner, is so prolific. The breadth of his work is so wide, it's very difficult to choose only a part of it and to choose the exact projects which tell his story the best. My favorite chapter is about Henry's design for dairy farm. So in the mid-80s, Henry redesigned dairy farm's corporate identity because they were going to be relisted. However, the real meaning of the story is how Hong Kong is such a cross-cultural place, and also Henry's multiculturalism, because he was originally from Austria, and he moved to New York when he was a child as a refugee, ahead of the Second World War. And then finally he moved to Japan and then to Hong Kong. I am also something of an outsider in Hong Kong, even though I was born here, unlike him. But many of the things that he talks about and many of the ways in which he deals in Hong Kong through everyday life it resonates very much with me. During the writing of the book, I saw him perhaps every week or every 2 weeks for a period of about 6 months. And I think we got to know each other fairly well. We talk almost exclusively about Hong Kong because it's a subject matter which fascinates us both. I am very interested in things which do not get so much attention, things which people would often ignore because they're not flashy. I love many things about Hong Kong. It's very difficult to narrow it down. I think the signs are just an example. They're just very understated, and you may not even realize that they're there. However, when you know what they are, you can't help but see them everywhere. I think the best thing about Hong Kong is how surprising it is. I think quite often people assume it is one thing. People assume it is just a city for finance. People assume that it does not have a deep culture, or assume that it is not culturally diverse. But in fact, it is all of these things. People often ask if I will go home to England and explore my roots. But the fact is that England is not my home. Hong Kong is my home. I was born here. And at the time when I was born in the late 80s, I was told that England is home and that England is where I am from, because at that time, many people viewed Hong Kong as a transient place, have a deep affection for culture in the UK. However, I recognize that it is not exactly my culture. I did experience a reverse culture shock. Leaving for the UK, I had to adapt to a culture which was unfamiliar to me. And then returning again from the UK, there was a steep learning curve. I had only lived in Hong Kong as a child, basically. And then returning as an adult, the environment that you live in is very different. The types of people who you get to encounter, also very different and much more wide in range. I think that it's a skill to approach it with curiosity and humility, and that's the lesson. Sort of like it. On one side, you may say that you can be anywhere or you can belong anywhere, but the flip side to that is that you also may belong nowhere. To be able to be comfortable with that and to navigate it and to find your way, to facilitate communication, to be attentive to other people, and attentive to your surroundings. I think that's the real beauty of cosmopolitanism.